This is either like the first of a vlog series or it's like my entry in like the worst webcam Olympics, because every time I start recording it just sounds like a digitized Perry the Platypus is like making chatters in the background, and then like this thing is probably going to refocus a couple times. It's a miracle I made it through interviews with this thing alone. I need to replace it so bad. What are we talking about today? Dead IoT companies. Okay. This, as all brainworms that I have, they usually start on Hacker News. So I found this article and it was like, okay, some guy hacked a startup that probably sold some hardware. What did they sell? It was one of these displays that just that like it's dot matrix. It's a little nostalgic. It tells you when the next train's coming. Okay, I immediately understand the art. You know, once you have a display like this, you could, and it's internet connected. You know, you can have the world. You ship this as like the marketing thing, and then everything else is a little nice value add. You know, maybe a little Spotify integration with the now playing display. Okay, they screwed up bad. This was in 2018, and they needed customers to like do chargebacks on their credit cards, and I don't know what, like, these people had a WeWork. Let's see if I can get some WeWork evidence. Oh yeah, they had like 3 marketing people on, and you can tell because their Instagram is kick-ass. You know, they had articles seeded around the, you know, the news sites. I think The Verge and something else. Okay, you'll have to trust me on this one, but they had a WeWork. 6 people in a WeWork, all of them on New York salary, like New York cost of living. Not gonna cut it. Not gonna cut it. Your costs will go in the toilet. $600. Okay, that is so far beyond like the impulse. Like this goes in the same impulse purchase brain as all the other furniture in somebody's house, and like $600 immediately hits all the alarms, even of like the most impulse-driven people. You know, with the terrible credit histories and spend the Amazon accounts. Okay, who else is here? Who didn't die? Okay, Tidbyt. Cool. This has been out for a minute, and how this isn't a good signal. Like, okay, yes, a lot of people are buying it. How are you supply constrained? This should have just been one factory order. One factory order, and then you just keep cycling it over and over again. If I have to buy this thing, I don't know about this custom website. You know, maybe people would be happier to buy things if they are on Amazon because everybody's already connected to Amazon. Like, I hate the business model too. Like, you just throw all your shipping margin at Amazon, but you know, people want to click it more, so you'll maybe make more sales. Okay, am I satisfied with this thing? Am I satisfied with this thing? Am I satisfied with this thing? Where is my evidence? Okay, 4 people first. Okay, it's an improvement. 4 people. Okay, one engineer and 3 not really engineers. Cool. Gosh, where was my evidence of this being a little bit sus? Please, where are the PCBs? Don't make me... Oh, there it is. Right. Let's... Can I... Oh my god, I can't zoom in correctly. Can I view an image? Open an image in a tab. There it is. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, that's an ESP32. It's a Wi-Fi microcontroller. And immediately I am not happy with this. So I wasn't happy with the NYC train sign because they were literally shipping Raspberry Pis to people. Like, what are you, like, this, oh my god, this must be like what, you know, you're in the Great Depression and then your pops has some, you know, newspapers about the opulent roaring 20s, and then you're like, oh my god, if only they knew the bad times were coming. And now the bad times have come. You know, these scalpers, you know, gotta buy these for like $200. It's insane. There's no way you can sell this in a product. It's like irresponsible. You're taking stock out of the Pi Foundation and just throwing it into, you know, an IoT product. You know, the Raspberry Pi should not, it should stay in the prototype phase. Do not ship. Do not ship. You just keep seeing the silhouette of the Pi. They shipped Pis. They shipped Pis. That is a death knell. Okay, ESP32. This is the thrifty choice. You replace all your your Pi designs with this thing. It's like, if you want to think about it in a simple way, it's like the it's an Arduino with Wi-Fi, basically. It's more powerful than a typical Arduino Uno, much more powerful. But these displays they're using, they're called Hub 75, and they just take so much effort to drive. It is such a pain in the ass. You basically have to be like throwing pixels at it all the time, and you have to get very precise with the timing. Literally, if you mess up the timing, your colors are wrong. Like if your processor is like busy waiting on it, like doing a network request, whatever, you're not throwing pixels at the screen, you're going to see tearing. You're going to see a lot of artifacts. So the thing I want to be careful about when designing these is that you're not putting all the effort onto one machine, especially one machine that has a lot of jitter. So if it's true that this ESP32 is, I don't have one of these, I can't tell. I can't get a good picture of the back. Like, no, that's Google. There it is. There's a picture of the back. The point I'm trying to get to is that a microcontroller that like actually is dedicated to running the display all the time? Because if it's not a controller that's like, its full-time job is literally just spamming pixels to the display. It takes occasional pixel updates from the ESP32 and it just keeps it running so the ESP32 can be doing all its ambitious network stuff. If that's not true, if the ESP32 is doing all the brains, all the everything on this board, like this project has like a upper limit of how ambitious it can be. And once this ESP32, this is the S2 or S3, it's one of the older ones on the Extensa instruction set. It can't, what am I saying? It can do things. It has a DMA channel, and it has a DMA channel designed for driving LCD displays. And this is really nice because it makes it easier for this thing to spam pixels. It doesn't make it perfect to spam pixels, but you know, you can't do it mindlessly, but you can spam them a little easier. The next ESP32s, the ones that I think this is the direction that Espressif is gonna stay in, they're going to RISC-V, and the RISC-V CPUs, well, the RISC-V equipped modules, they don't have DMA. They don't have, well, they have DMA probably, but they don't have LCD designed DMA. Maybe the future ones will, but there will be a funny hiccup period probably where the S3 is no longer in production. The RISC-V ESPs don't have a DMA engine capable of LCD handling, and these guys might be in a pickle. Oh, by the way, I did check what this microchip in the this half of the board is, the small one. It's a USB serial bridge, so easy to hack this thing. Probably designed for hackers a little bit. You know, you just plug in and just reprogram that thing. I wonder how safe the encryption keys are on that. I wonder if that'll have another Hacker News story about some dude hacking this. Oh, and by the way, at no point here did somebody say, "Oh, damn, this is something I could steal their business. I could do this myself. I could do it better." No, they were all just pooping on it. You know, classic Hacker News. You know, negative Nancy. Okay, yeah, this is my favorite to poop on them because I agree with it. You know, what is it? Oh yeah, it's too damn expensive to run a six-person operation. 3 of them marketing. We work. Okay, sexy Instagram pictures, you know. Ooh, lots of close-ups, lots of models. Look at those models. Lots of models. Where are they getting all these models? Is this what happens when you live in Bushwick? This is only something that Bushwick people could pull off. Only Bushwick people would ship Raspberry Pis. Brooklyn people are a little more conservative with their hardware, but this is just kind of nutty, and it just smells like they're putting too much effort into the software. Like apps, like there is such thing as too much of a software footprint. Okay, this feels like they're trying to run a smartphone, and you know, when you do this kind of stuff, then people start thinking, no, not here. Aha, The Verge. Even more negative Nancy's, even more. How am I forgetting the word for pessimist so quickly? Pessimist. Basically, when you start thinking about this like a smartphone, then you start going into, you know, super super analytical reviews, and you can't figure out that this is just like a piece of art. Okay, yeah, its charm is real, hilariously bad photo frame. That's not his point. That it's like it's bad pic. These pixels are massive because it's nostalgic. It's, you know, quirky. It's a little fun. You know, it's nice and cute in this alarm clock form factor. Yeah, I mean, when you do this kind of stuff, when all you do... Oh, and they complain about apps. Where do they complain about apps? They complain about app switching. Switch. Aha. Switching time down this 5 seconds. Why? Why do you complain about this? This should be something you just put on your wall, and it does things, and occasionally you interact with it, like, you know, you turn on Spotify and it projects what song is playing on Spotify. But again, this should all be out of your way. This should be sold as a piece of wall art, not as a digital thing. These guys probably spent too long, you know, writing apps and systems, and, you know, their weird programming language for these apps, they use like a Go derivative, like configuration language. New York engineers. This is the side of Brooklyn. Like, what is it? Build an app. Build an app. Ba, 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 ba. What? What are you talking? You know, picking an easier language isn't going to add more developers to your community, because everybody capable who is like driven enough, skilled enough, capable enough to do this kind of stuff. It's not like the Arduino ecosystem is the only thing holding them back. It's a lot of just programming weight, no matter where, programming difficulty, no matter what you do. So I don't understand this choice. New York engineers, Star Lark, GitHub. No, don't put this in. I don't want this in an embedded device near me. Stop doing this crap. Please let this be a microcontroller. I actually have like a terrible display that I bought off of Amazon. Like, this thing is total jank, and I'm going to be taking it apart pretty soon. It's got a promising design, but it confirms to me that basically you use the same design goals for all of these things. You know, you have your Wi-Fi microcontroller, and then you have a larger non-Wi-Fi microcontroller that's just responsible for throwing pixels, you know, rendering frames on this thing over and over again, letting the Wi-Fi microcontroller do things. Because if you don't let the Wi-Fi microcontroller do things, you can't do ambitious crap. You're kind of limited in how ambitious you are before you start seeing horrible crap on the screen. Tearing, wrong colors, missed frames. Let me go get that crap ass sign. Janky webcam, meet janky hardware. Like, this is a display that's, you know, the complete opposite end of the form factor that we were going for with the Tidbyt. You know, this is a little alarm clock. This is something you put in the back of your truck. This is something you put in the side of a business. There's hot glue everywhere. If this isn't refocusing 100 times a second, this looked even worse when I first opened it. It was just like Spider-Man did the finishing touches. They're just hot glue strings everywhere. This thing is all hot glue. Look at that power supply. This is depressing. This power supply is the reason that this case is so thick. It has no reason being this thick and so heavy. Why are you aluminum extruding this? I love Shenzhen engineers. Because they have access to easy aluminum extruding. People like me don't. We just use laser cutters. And honestly, if this power supply wasn't such a brick, this could be an entire laser cut back panel. I don't know if you could see it here, but they like, these cuts aren't perfect on these acrylic joiner panels. Like, they're done with scissors. They're done by hand. This is spooky. This is so spooky to look at. Like, oh my god, I gotta take this thing apart. This thing right here has a little ESP on it. It's one of the older ones. It's an ESP 8285. It's like, It's kind of like the OG ESP chip, but it has embedded flash, so it's not the current generation. And you know, man, it would have been great if this thing came around when USB-C was a thing, because what is all this? They probably need this huge power supply because they got to run off of mains power or 12-volt power. This is crazy. But, you know, I can't entirely blame them for this janky design because when I bought this thing, it was advertised as weatherproof. That's why there's fan here, because, you know, if it gets hot, you need to vent the case or this thing will melt. Well, not melt, just shut down. That's why they have all this, you know, that probably explains the aluminum extrusion and all the hot glue everywhere, because they just need to you need to seal it. The thing that makes me a little depressed is like this hot glue in the power supply. I don't know if that's an okay strategy. I don't know what passes for okay power supplies, but you know, man, if my phone can charge off of 18 watts off of USB-C power delivery and it's like this thin, what is this thing doing at this thickness? Like, this thing was $200. $200. You know, when you have an engineering team that's this big, you know, Tidbyt is 4 people, NYC Train Sign was 6, although some of them were marketing, you know. That's a lot of mouths to feed. That's a lot of margins. You know, ideally this should be something done by 1 or 2 people, maybe part-time. I'm being a little optimistic here, but I think you could do some magic. You can do some magic if you're an embedded engineer. I'm not. I'm a normal software engineer. I'm a fake engineer. I don't know. Maybe this can be built without Starlark.